Hello everybody, I am Usman Upworkwala. I study in level 1.55 Finance School County campus. And in this episode, we have Jason Grant with us. And today we will try to know about him and his life journey, and we will try to learn from him. And so, hi Jason, how are you?
I'm doing very well. How are you doing, my brother?
I'm doing great. So let's start our conversation without any waste of time. So my first question is, first of all, you please introduce yourself to my audience so they can learn.
Yeah, so my name is Jason Grant, and I have been doing user experience design and design of all sorts for last 20 years. But recently, I'm focusing a lot more on basically what I sometimes describe as redesigning human minds through a program called Fresh Mind. And that's really what I would like to discuss with you and lots of other people about going forward a lot more, because I think the mind is the first principle really of everything we do in our lives. And the more we can use our mind in better ways, the better we can succeed in everything we set out to do.
Thank you for this wonderful introduction. My first question is from you. What inspired you to create the Fresh Mind program, and what was your inspiration?
This is a very good question. What inspired me to create the Fresh Mind program was going through a process in my life where I had achieved everything that I wanted to achieve in my life. I had wife, house, children. I was doing what I love to do. I had money, I had health, and Allah gave me everything that I always wanted. And suddenly I found myself not happy, not blissful, not joyful, but all the opposites of that. I didn't quite know why I was living life, because by now I had achieved everything I always wanted. So I actually found myself depressed and not knowing what to do, and I knew that was no good place to be in mentally, and I had to do something very different in order to continue living my life in a meaningful way, to find joy, happiness, all these kind of things again. And I designed the Fresh Mind program to help me come out of those feelings of down feelings and come back up into up feelings. So that's how that came about. I literally designed it to save myself, and in the process, I actually designed a program that is helping other people save their lives and improve their lives in the process.
That's amazing, good job. And my next question is from you. How does the Fresh Mind program help individuals achieve their ideal life?
You were just on mute there, so I didn't hear the question. Could you repeat, please?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so my question was for me. How does the Fresh Mind program help people and individuals achieve their life goals and ideal life?
So what I've started doing recently is publishing some of the videos and insights that I have gotten from doing the Fresh Mind program myself, and also taking dozens of people through it in the last 7 years. So if everyone goes to the URL that's on the video, which is freshmind.live/y, they will get to my YouTube channel where they can subscribe for absolutely free and get regular insights that are learnings and great tips and profound guidelines as to how to lead a life that's joyful, ideal. What does it mean to lead an ideal life? It means the life that you really want, whether it's from money perspective or relationships, family, emotions, spirituality, physicality. All these things are important in life, and my videos will guide you to start realizing that. So subscribe to the YouTube channel by all means, but also invite your family members, friends, and others to subscribe as well, because the more people subscribe there, more people you invite, the more you're actually going to feel the participation in this process. For me, I've not been the although at some point I had the importance to focus on myself fully, even though I had done that 7 years ago. From now on, I'm dedicating myself to helping others as much as I possibly can. So freshmind.life/y for the YouTube channel, or Google it in the YouTube. You can find it by typing in Fresh Mind Now, all one word.
That's amazing. And my next question is from you. What are the key areas of life that the Fresh Mind program focus on?
So there are 18 lines of intelligence that we look into, which are mapped out in the Fresh Mind framework. And some of them include physical intelligence, spiritual intelligence, financial intelligence, emotional intelligence, social intelligence. And each one of these intelligences in our minds deals with different natures of reality. So, social intelligence deals with how we interact with other humans, emotional intelligence deals with how we are emotionally with ourselves and with others that we interact, and whether other people can make us feel a certain way or whether we make ourselves feel a certain way that we choose to feel. Um, and different intelligences have different capacities and purposes. And in each one, we find there are important factors in life because, for example, in the academic intelligence, it's really important to know how to learn and have knowledge, factual knowledge, information. But academic intelligence on its own does not really achieve anything unless we apply it physically and practically and logically into the society through our social intelligence in order to achieve the biggest goals we can and create our own ideal life that has impact both on us individually and as a society.
Can you share a success story from someone who has completed the Fresh Mind program and share them results?
Yeah, so an example would be a certain young man who had great hate towards his father. When he first joined the Fresh Mind program, did not speak to his father, and he really disliked his father. And sub as a subsequent consequence of that, what happened is that over the years he felt more and more uh, disconnected from his family. And this young man is also a Muslim brother, and in Islam, family is a very important aspect of who we are. So as soon as someone gets disconnected from their family, they feel actually less Muslim and they feel more disconnected from God, from Allah. And it's hard to be a good Muslim while not being in good relationship with your dad and mom and family. What the reason why this young man had fallen out with his dad and wasn't communicating is because when he was young, he had seen his dad threaten his mom. They had some sort of argument, and this young man, at the age of something like 7 or 8, he was traumatized by this event, and he wanted to protect his mom, but he couldn't. So he um, just basically developed hate towards his dad. And then that hate towards his dad led him down the path of drinking, smoking, just kind of not really caring about his life. And increasingly, he was feeling more and more depressed. When he came to me and started doing the Fresh Mind program, within a couple of weeks, he had actually started realizing that he needed to make up with his dad, make friends again, and resolve the pain and trauma that he was holding towards him. And as soon as he did that, he felt immediately a lot more content, peaceful within himself, and found a newfound purpose for his own life. And then from then on, started improving more and more, stopped smoking, stopped drinking, got a job that was paying him good money, found a wife. Now he's just recently had a child, and he's reconciled with all of his family, and he's now living his optimal life. So there's an example.
That's amazing. So, what unique methods or techniques do you use in your program to enable personal growth?
So there are many different methods and techniques used inside Fresh Mind program. Most of it is what's called the talking therapy. So we have a conversation about the the positive and negative aspects of individuals' minds. So we call them abilities and impurities. So abilities are things that you can do with your mind that are positive and that can create that ideal life that we look for. And impurities are those things that we've picked up, negative social programming or bad parenting or bad upbringing or general impacts from the environment, which have created us to have low self-confidence or think bad about ourselves, be kind of hateful, prideful, ashamed of ourselves, and generally just disliking ourselves. And this can actually happen to people who have high intelligence. A person who has high intelligence and dislikes themselves are much better at disliking themselves than the person who has low intelligence and dislikes themselves. So intelligence can work for or against us, and many people find themselves that their intelligence works against them. So we look at these aspects that are against them, and we openly discuss it in a talking therapy, and whatever methodology is able to get to those issues. And then the person goes through a process of both accepting those facts as they think of themselves and letting them go, because as they let go, they release certain psychological weight that's been pulling them down, and they experience a certain psychological enlightenment. They become lighter as a person, and then that continues motivating them going forward.
Amazing. So, my next question is from you. How do you adapt the program to suit individuals with different goals and challenges?
This is a very good question, actually, because there are so many different psychological challenges that humans deal with day to day, and depending on whether it's a man or woman, younger, older person, depending what they're doing, where they're at in their lives, the challenges are different kinds and different intensities. And the what is really lacking these days, as we've become more and more technologically connected society, we have got become more psychologically disconnected society. So humans typically don't have very good conversations with each other, and those conversations tend to be at very shallow level of interaction. Whereas what people are looking for is a lot more deeper conversation about themselves and true aspects of who they are, what really matters to them. And so the process is extremely transformational in that sense to everyone who goes through it, because that human, deep, connected conversation is transformative in itself.
Okay, so we are talking about ideal lives, and anyone had different thoughts on this topic. So, can you tell me how do you define ideal life?
Great question. So, ideal life is the life that the individual human really wants to live. Everyone will have a slightly different definition as to what their ideal life is, but they are able to very much define that ideal life. what is powerful about the Fresh Mind program is that because it uses 18 lines of intelligence and 8 stages of human development or actualization, it can provide questions to every person about all the aspects of life that really can matter. And some people find certain things matter more than others. Like, for example, someone values more their physical intelligence than financial, or academic more than creative, and that's all fine. So each individual is able to create their own definition of what ideal life is to them. But usually people want great health, lots, as much money as they possibly can earn, and are willing to earn, to feel emotionally stable and positive, to have good family relationships, good social connections and friends and network, and so on. So in the process of doing the Fresh Mind program, everyone becomes very consciously aware of what their ideal life is. And it's not for me to define that for them. For me, what it is to give them the framework by which they can do that for themselves and help them to realize that ideal life for them.
That's amazing. Can you share your favorite part of guiding others?
Yes, my favorite part is really taking each person through the lines of intelligence, as we call them. And as they start off at the beginning stage, which is called instinctive, uh, they are facing the feelings of shame, guilt, misery, and such like, and fear. And as they go through the session and the process, they are starting to have to think about how that line of intelligence, whether it's physical, financial, social, creative, musical, or others, how though that line of intelligence resonates in higher registers of self-awareness, such as joy, peace, reverence, willingness, and so on. And it's really interesting to see people can cry a lot. They cry sometimes over the bad things that they've been doing them to themselves psychologically, but they also cry the tears of bliss and happiness as they start realizing the new things that they can be doing and are now willing to do going forward to improve their lives and create that ideal life.
Okay, so like you said that there are too much people that cry a lot. So they some from the peoples I think lose motivation. So how do you motivate your participants?
So this is interesting question in the sense of whether it is possible to motivate anybody at all from external position, and the argument is probably that it's not possible. The only thing that is possible is to really speak to people about that which they care about, which is their own selves, and really truly connect with them about both positive and negative aspects of their life as they've identified it, because that is what they really care about and they really think of themselves. And then the motivation is the process of getting them to drop that which no longer works, which then motivates them to really think more about that which may work and does work, and also just double down on that which does work and inspire them to think up and discover new possibilities for them without necessarily telling them what to do, because nobody likes to be told what to do so much. So there is a process of gently helping them realize themselves and own that realization and have it as truth that they can live with going forward, especially when we record things as video and they can replay it back and see it again and observe those realizations. And the crying thing is usually indicative of something that people really feel strongly about. If I say something without crying, it's not as powerful as something that makes me cry and really makes my body kind of react and resonate with it. So there's a lot of crying in the Fresh Mind program. It's not necessarily bad crying. It's crying the tears of bliss. And going forward, I myself often cry just even smelling a rose. I cry the tears of happiness, and those are the kind of tears that I like people see people crying.
Okay, so that's amazing. And my next question is from you. What do you think the biggest challenges people face in your program? Because there are much challenges in every work, and you have to learn from every challenge. So, what do you think your participants, any challenge that your participants have to face?
There are many challenges that people face with the Fresh Mind program and the process, and all these challenges are directly related to who they are, what they are like, and how their current life is. The first challenge is really just even realizing that we ourselves individually have got the power to change ourselves. So, first of all, is the challenge of self awareness. The second challenge is the lack of willingness to change. So we might be aware that we can change, but are we willing to change? And the answer is usually most people are not willing to change. Even if they're really suffering, they're not willing to change. And this really smart and wise people are able to have the aha moment and say, hey, I can help myself and I can change myself. And then I'm willing to go through the process of change, which means letting go of that which doesn't work and accepting more of the things that do work. And then from there on, the challenges are less and less because once the person decides, wills to go into the fresh mind process, then usually I find they're just continuously getting more and more motivated and driven to complete the process because they start realizing immediately the results that come about from going through that conscious change process and the structured change process. So really the core two challenges are becoming aware that I can actually help myself, and secondly, be willing to step into something like the fresh mind process.
Okay, so my next question is from you. What keeps you passionate about this work? Because there are too much people that start work, but some months ago, some days ago, or some years ago, they lose interest in that work. So, what make you passionate about this work?
What makes me passionate about this work is that with every person that I take through the process, I actually also learn more about the nature of the human psychology and human minds and how people think and what they suffer from and where they have their own challenges. And in turn, that teaches me about myself as well, because all of us humans are kind of made in the same psychological blueprint or template. And then we differ based on the experiences that we've had through our lives. So it's very interesting to me to see how different people think. And also through this process, I'm developing, and through this process, I'm helping to effectively what I call redesign humanity, create a better world for all of us to live in, and certainly my own children and children of the people who've gone through the Fresh Mind program and had children as subsequent consequence of that. So that's really what motivates me, helping create better humanity.
Okay, so let's move on the last part of our interview. So, would you like to give any advice or message to my audience?
So first advice is definitely follow and subscribe to the YouTube channel, freshmind.life/y. Um, and don't just subscribe and go like, okay, I've done that, now I'm done. every single video that I share there is part of the big realization insights. In fact, I've got around 300 videos that I will be publishing there, and every day or week I record another five or six. And they're designed to be like small, snackable stories and insights into what really matters. And a lot of these stories are not typical to what you will be taught from your school or government or other people, even parents, and so on. And it's worth exploring these different perspectives that the mind can take. It's all absolutely free. And the more you contemplate through these little stories, the better you will be able to awaken to who you truly are, what you can do, and start building that um, ideal life, even without doing the Fresh Mind program. So the YouTube channel is there as an active learning resource on yourself from myself. Okay, so freshmind.life/y.
Okay, thank you so much for this wonderful message. So everybody, I will grab YouTube link and make it in description. You can check the description and click on that link, and you will can subscribe to the channel and see their educational videos, and there are too much things to learn from him videos. And so it's nice to do a conversation with you. So now I want to invite you in our school, Rehan School, Karachi campus. This is in Pakistan, Karachi. So when you come in Pakistan, so also visit Rehan School, Karachi campus.
That's a very good question. Inshallah, I'd love to visit Pakistan as soon as possible, and visit the work and the school that Rayhan's been building. And I think everyone around the world now knows Rayhan and his impact. And he's actually really an example of a person that shows how powerful these modern networks are. And, this is why I'd like to support people like yourself, Usman, and other brothers and sisters, however young or old or middle aged they are. Everyone's got ability to contribute something of value, and I really really thank you and appreciate you for doing this interview. And with this kind of eloquence and ability to speak the way you are at such a young age, you are set to become very very successful person in future. So well done to you. And you know again, I'm inviting everyone to follow my YouTube channel for that kind of unique perspective from the Fresh Mind. So it's freshmind.life/y, and invite your whole family to follow it.
Okay, so that's amazing. So everybody, I hope you found this today's conversation helpful and informative. So can you share in comment section what you have learned from today's conversation, and what's are your questions next. So thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.
Thank you so
Bye.
much. Bye bye.